The elevator lied. I knew it the second the doors stuttered, as if the car had bitten down on a hard truth. The brass panel in the lobby showed 1, 2, 3, 12, 14. Number 13. The way old buildings soothe the superstitious. "We skip it," the superintendent said when I signed. He had sandpaper hands and a voice like a broom dragged over concrete. "Bad luck isn't a code requirement." He smiled. "It's just good business." The first night, I pressed 6 for my new place, apartment 6B, a shoebox with a back-facing window and rent I could afford if I held my breath during groceries. The car groaned upward, lights flickering. Then a soft ding, almost apologetic, and a number that didn't exist burned steady, 13. I hit close door open, 6, lobby, anything. The doors parted anyway, slow, theatrical, onto a carpeted corridor I knew before I knew it. Blue pile carpet, pilled at the edges from years of socked feet. A plastic nightlight shaped like a crescent moon, casting a bruised blue glow. The diabetic sweet scent of the detergent my mother bought because it was always on sale. At the end of the hall, a door stood ajar the way a held breath stands ajar. My childhood bedroom waited beyond it, the exact wrong size for the present. "Wrong building," I whispered. The hall exhaled a vent hiss like a laugh. I slammed the close door button. The elevator thunked shut as if embarrassed. When it opened again, I faced 6B's battered peephole. Inside, I triple-locked the door, stacked boxes against it like I could weigh the present down on top of the past, and told myself there were reasonable explanations. Old hotel annex, service floor, the city's 1,000 crooked grandfathered codes. I did not say ghost. I did not say mom. At 1:13 a.m., footsteps began above me, not creaks, footsteps, heel, toe, pause. A deliberate circle, measured like someone tracing the rim of a teacup. I was on the top floor. I put on a hoodie, grabbed the heavy mag light I'd packed first, and climbed until the stairs ended at a chained roof door. The steps kept moving overhead, where there was nothing but pigeon bones and sky. They stopped directly above me, and then her voice seeped through the cinder block, soft as steam, open. My mother had been dead 8 years. She never sounded more awake. In the morning, the super shrugged without meeting my eyes. "Old pipes," he said. "The building knocks around. It's a body." He signed for a parcel without looking at the clipboard, and handed me a mailbox key that stuck and complained like it was born retired. The mailroom smelled like dry paper and chewing gum. Behind the boxes, wedged between the wall and a forgotten broom, I found a ledger. Thick cardstock covers, ruled pages hand-numbered in precise, stubborn ink, 1 through 12, then a gap, then 14. 13 was absence in binding glue. Tenants by unit, tidy columns. For 6B M. Olson, move out, unrecorded. A pencil note in the margin. Newer hand, lighter pressure. Read, keys returned by child. I touched the words as if they might run. When I got back upstairs, a brass key lay on my doormat, heavy and oily, stamped with a number that should have been a practical joke. 1313. The metal was warmer than the hallway air, as if it had been in someone's pocket seconds ago. Mine? My mother's? I had no pockets. I had no mother. I fell asleep on boxes and dreamed frames. A narrow corridor, wall to wall with pictures of me at 7, 9, 12. Every face slightly smudged where my features should be, the way you erase with the side of your thumb and leave grease. In each photo, my eyes weren't looking at the camera. They were glancing just over my shoulder at something the photographer didn't see. When I woke, 5 light fingerprints clouded my phone screen. Too small to be mine, too large to be a child's. The mag light rolled off the nightstand, beam landing on the closet like an accusation. I opened it. The back wall was gone, not removed, disbelieved. Warm darkness breathed from within, the thermostat memory of a room that had been sleeping. The moon nightlight shone low to the ground, the hum of a cheap box fan, braided with the cottony smell of pencil shavings and drugstore banana lip balm. My old poster, The one I ripped at 14 during a tantrum and taped badly, hung again with its crease ironed out by time that had no business ironing anything. "Mom?" I asked the dark, hating how quick hope still woke in me. No answer, only that thready whisper from behind the world, "What did you take?" I didn't know. I knew only that the key in my pocket pulsed like a sore tooth. Memory isn't a recording. It's a stagehand with quick fingers, placing exactly what you expect, where you expect it, and then charging double. I stepped through the closet threshold, and the air remembered itself around me. The carpet rasped my palm with that familiar plastic burr. My dresser's middle drawer snagged at the back as if catching on the same forgotten splinter. The bed squeaked in its old, embarrassed key. Everything arranged itself the way a well-trained room does when it wants you to believe. Down the corridor, the elevator chimed once. Then again, then again. Each ding landed like a year. I followed the sound toward a hall whose walls had grown their frames back. Now the photos had faces. Mine, but in every one I'd been caught glancing to the side, jaw tight, shoulder slightly raised, uneasy about whatever stood where I now stood. The frames were not silver, not black. They were the exact dull brass of the 1313 key. The elevator opened onto a lobby that wasn't the building's. It was my middle school entrance. Trophy case with the soccer team that never won regionals. The corkboard where February was perennially misspelled. The water fountain that gurgled like it was keeping a secret. The security desk sat where it shouldn't. Behind it, the super wore my principal's tie. "Return what you took," he said, as if this were morning announcements. I didn't take anything. He slid a manila envelope across laminate. Inside, my old library card, edges gone soft, a sun-faded friendship bracelet I thought I'd lost at camp, and a note in my mother's hand that wasn't any of the notes I kept in a shoebox. "If you get this, it means you went looking." "I'm not here to steal," I said. He glanced up at the ceiling as if checking a weather report my body couldn't read. "The 13th floor opens only to debts." A bell rang. No clock, just the sound of 113 as an idea. Footsteps began behind me, measured, heel-toe. The circle tightened until it angled around my ankles. I tried to step out of it and felt a pressure. Not weight, not pain, like resisting a slow current. "What did I take?" I asked, breath shallow. "A future," he said, gently, as if telling me something I already knew. And then the loudspeaker crackled to life with my mother's laugh, not from a recording, but the messy live edge where breath becomes sound. It caught on the last note the way she always did when she'd almost say my name. You learn rules by breaking them and half surviving. By the third night, I could chart the haunting on a napkin. 1. At 1:13 a.m., the floor appears. 2. The elevator prefers honesty and stops where it isn't allowed. 3. The doors open if you're already halfway to wanting them to. 4. The circle accepts offerings. Not blood or candles. Anchors. Bits of you that keep your life from floating off the table. I arranged the library card and the bracelet at the circle center like tiny surrender flags. The footsteps paused as if the air cocked its head. The nightlight brightened from bruise to milk. Then came radio static coalescing into syllables. The laugh again, fuller, followed by breath shaped toward a word I'd been thirsty for since the hospital. "Honey." My throat closed. Crying came like useful weather, ribs sore, eyes salt-burned. I sat in the doorway between apartment and memory and listened until the sound thinned. When it faded, another sound slid in, graphite on paper. I turned. The wall between rooms was thinner now, as if our spaces were duplexed, a mirror with bad boundaries. Through it I saw a boy sitting cross-legged on carpet, drawing a house with no windows. He had my concentration and that small, fierce frown children wear when they refuse to make a mistake twice. After a minute he drew a door, and after another minute a tall figure standing in it. His frown softened into fear. He looked up and met my gaze through the membrane of shared air. "You took my room," he said. His voice trembled and held. "I didn't mean." My eyes snagged on the bracelet around his wrist. "Not like mine. Mine." The elevator stutter-belled 131313 behind him. He held up a brass key stamped 1313 twin to mine. "It gives us the same puzzle," he said. "It watches what we pay." "What's the price?" He looked past me toward where my mother's laugh had thinned to a rumor. "Something you won't get back." Outside the window that wasn't a window, the city exhaled sirens. The footsteps resumed, but now they circled both our rooms in a lazy figure eight, a needle stitching time through two lives. The building wasn't a place. It was a ledger that did its math in people. The pencil in the ledger margin had written keys returned by child. Somewhere in this arithmetic, I was the debtor. I made tea because rituals pretend to be answers. Steam rose, then tilted, then wandered into the closet and was gone like it remembered another kitchen. The 1313 key lay warm in my palm, pulsing with a small, steady animal life. The boy on the far side of the thin wall watched me like you watch a coin about to decide which world it wants. I understood it all at once, the way clarity sometimes arrives like a minor car crash. The building didn't want things. It wanted a role to be filled. It wanted someone to stand in the blank page where 13 should go and hold it open for whoever couldn't afford the toll. A keeper. A clerk. A hinge. At 1:13 a.m., I stepped into the elevator. It didn't move, it admitted. Doors parted on the corridor of frames. Now the photos no longer featured me. They held 100 tenants I'd never met, each glancing past the camera toward a fear with my outline. The brass panel in the elevator showed 1, 2, 3, 13, as if it always had. As if the truth, once paid for, rewrites the plaque. I hung the bracelet on the fire alarm pole, something bright where emergency lives. I slid the library card under the baseboard, knowledge cached for a stranger. I placed the 1313 key at dead center of the circle the footsteps drew, and the circle recognized exactness with a hush. Then I spoke to the thin wall. "Take the room," I told the boy. "Take the floor. Take the part of the story that leaves and closes the door behind itself. I'll keep the debt. I'll be the one who stays." The building exhaled in a long, low draft that smelled like rain on stone. The pressure fell away. Somewhere not far, a real kettle boiled. On the boy's side of the wall, a woman's voice, hoarse, patient, living, said his name. A lock turned, the figure eight untied. When the elevator doors slid open again, morning light had inserted itself into the lobby. A new super, different smile, different broom, chatted with tenants who didn't recognize me because there was no me to recognize. A young woman in a hoodie hurried in, cradling a heavy flashlight, eyes tilted toward the ceiling like she was listening for steps. She pressed 6 with a knuckle that shook a little. In the closing doors, I caught my reflection, thinner around the edges the way photos strain when overcopied. Not unhappy, not free, a practical smile, the kind you wear when paid in memories. I pressed 13. The doors opened onto a hallway ready to be believed in by someone else. That night, at 1:13, footsteps crossed above 6B, measured, patient, heel-toe. I traced their circle because the page needs handwriting to be real. The 13th floor is for debts. It opens where you shouldn't be able to go. If one day you're tricked into it by something shaped like your mother's voice, don't panic. Count the dings. Bring a key. Decide what future you can afford.